Welcome back, my friends, to Filmmaking and More. I'm your host, Juicy, and thank you for joining us today. The show is about filmmaking, screenwriting, and music involved in the movie making process. So sit back and enjoy the ride. In this episode, we'll look at filmmaking on set and on location. We'll find out what the differences are, and then we'll go ahead and go through the requirements of filming on both parts. And then we'll go through the list of requirements. But before we do that, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment, let us know what you thought of this episode and what you think might make a great episode in the future. So we have sets and locations, and for sets we're going to be looking at sound stages, and then of course on location is actually at the site. So the equipment you're going to be using are cameras, and you're going to provide lighting. You're going to rearrange your sound if you need to. Make sure you have proper levels. And then also screens, if you have green screens, white screens, black screens, whatever the screens may be, in order to get any kind of background that you can't get naturally. And then, of course, a whole bunch of props, whatever props you may use. So sometimes that includes, a building of a set, an actual piece of a house, or part of a room, for example, or actually bringing in, for example, I have a picture here. Later on, you'll see it of an actual RV in the studio, and they're filming part of the RV where they have all the lights and all that surrounding it. And then when you're filming on location, there's a few things you want to make sure that you're aware of. You need permits, or you need permission in order to film. If you don't have permission and you're doing something real quick, that's probably fine. I've heard a lot of filmmakers say they go ahead and just film, short clips or short scenes, and then they're on and moving on to the next thing. And then of course external sounds, airplanes, dogs barking, children playing or laughing, other people talking. So there's external sounds you have to be aware of, and you may have to actually redub or overdub the audio for the dialogue if you need to block any of the sounds out. Otherwise, take your chance, and hopefully the sound guy will say, yeah, we got to redo that one. Or, cut the dialogue in shorter, if you can. And then you have to be aware of the non-crew or cast members that are on the set or around the set. So, for example, if you're dealing with the scene that's going on at a particular location, and you have neighbors, or you have, just people driving by and you see the lights and all that, you'll have the crew actually set up borders or places that people can't cross, or have the police set that up all for them. For example, I went, when I was probably, maybe 10, I went and saw a scene from the original Charlie's Angels TV series, and I got to run by Farrah Fawcett as she was being carried on some guy's shoulder, some big guy, to her trailer. And I never said anything, but I looked up at her, she looked down at me, and she smiled, and I'll never forget that. And then another TV show called Chips. This is back in the 80s, a lot of disco stuff. And there was a scene where they were on the motorcycles, and they're obviously chasing somebody. So they had the actors on this trailer with motorcycle, props, basically, that they sit on and pretend like they're driving, right? Sorry to spoil it for you guys if you didn't know. Of course, the lighting, right? So you have sunlight and moonlight. You don't know what you're going to be shooting in, because sometimes clouds can come and ruin your sunshot, or maybe the moon isn't as bright that night as you thought it was going to be. Once again, clouds can be a deterrent so you got to make sure of your weather conditions for that particular day or that particular time of day, and you want to find out and make sure that you have enough sunlight and moonlight that's going to, if you're looking for those kind of light references. And then stunts. So this also applies to sets, where sets you have more safety, I believe, available there, as opposed to, hiring a crane or renting a crane and then hiring other apparatuses that you may need in order to provide safety for the stunts, or for the stuntmen, stunt people. So let's take a look at some of these pictures here. You can see the RV there, and it's blocked off where the front left driver's side is actually being the part that's filmed, maybe the front part. And then here's an actual set that has something built into it, and it's obviously they're going to be shooting inside that. And then a white screen, of course, you know, got everything around it. You got light. It looks like they're doing some kind of newscast or something. I can't really tell. It's kind of small. But and then here's another one where the set's actually built into the studio. And you go, sorry, don't have anything for location. That's how it goes, right? Hey, if you like this episode of Filmmaking and More, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you know the next time I drop a video. I want to thank you for joining the Filmmaking and More family. Go ahead and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The link's in the description box below. Thank you for supporting Juicyfroot Productions, because it provides us the resources and access we need to keep bringing you spicy content like this. From us here at Juicyfroot Productions and Robb Entertainment Corporation, this brings us to the end of another fine episode of Filmmaking and More. I'm your host, Juicy, and thank you for watching.
Gotta take you by the hand, oh yeah, and lead you to that brother's